everybody, and welcome back to the Short Take. We're here once again, week 13. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Seriously, guys. After this last week, week 12, we have so many teams that are in the running for the playoffs right now. We only have one that's a lock. We literally have one team right now out of 12 teams that is a lock for the playoffs. We are tied all the way down, or we're possibly going to be tied all the way down, depending on how this week works out. We got some matchup issues, but there's a possibility that we end up with, what is it, 7 teams that end up being 7-6 in the right scenario, with one group of people. Kyle and Spoons, one of them has to come out of this game 8-5. Everyone else is going to be 7-6. That's in that running spot if they win their specific games to get to that point. So there's a possibility to where we have 2 teams that are 9 and whatever Galv ends up being because he's amazing. And then Spoons and Kyle, one of them has to get a win, so that's going to put them at 8-5. That's 2 spots. 3, 4, 5, 6. Leaves 4 spots left for 7 teams that could be tied at 7-6. Get the math there? That means that 3 7-6 teams could not make the playoffs. You guys hear that? 3 7-6 teams could not make the playoffs if the right situation happened. That's big, guys. That's huge. First off, minus the fact that it's going to make Week 13 so fun and so intense the whole time. It shows that our league is awesome. It shows that our league has guys that know what we're doing. Everybody's doing what they're supposed to. We all have great teams. This dynasty thing's working out. Defenses are good. Everything's clicking in the right spot. So, and that's the biggest case scenario. I'm just trying to lay that out there, that is a scenario that could legitimately happen to where 3 teams that are 7-3 or 7-6 do not make the playoffs. I could be one of them. Kyle, the number 2 spot in our league right now, could not make the playoffs in that situation. That's where those points for come into play. All that stuff comes into play. So if you haven't been paying attention to that, now's the time to pick up on it, guys, because it's coming. So other than that, just a quick rundown to where we are right now. We've got, and these are no in specific order. I'm just kind of running these down. You got me at 7-5. You got Miss Slink at 4-8. Unfortunately, she is not going to be playoff eligible. Doesn't matter, but that that looks good for the draft. Coach Slinker 6-6. We got Vega 7-5. David 5-7. Unfortunately, his loss to Hendo this week put him out as well. But like I said, he's looked good for the playoffs. Next year it is. Hendo 6-6. Lamar, are you serious? Justin, he's out of the playoffs with the number 1 pick in the draft, so that's going to be big. Galvin 9-3, only guy right now that has a locked-in spot in the playoffs. Caden 7-5, Spoon 7-5, Kyle 7-5, Joyner 6-6. So that's just kind of where we're standing right now as of just where we are. Some big stuff going into the last week, just going over the wins and losses. Go ahead and get mine out of the way first. I took the eldest Slinker. Took the eldest Slinker by a really thin margin. But yeah, he beat that ass Monday night. He got into me. I watched the last 2 catches that Cooper Kupp got that put him over the top for it. And then they didn't throw the ball anymore because the game was over. And I was like, awesome. That's the way fantasy football goes for me this week. But it is what it is. We got Vega beat Michelle. Think I called that one. Yeah, it was Michelle put up a good game. Vega he had better matchups that week. So it is what it is. She was already out of the playoffs, but if she had beaten him, which I really wanted to happen. I love you, Vega. I got high hopes for you, but Kind of wanted one of those 6 teams to go away, and they're all still there. Hendo obviously beat David, which put him out. David's team is really good. I like his team. It just this last couple weeks, it just hasn't performed. The people haven't hit, and then other people's teams have been hitting. So I mean, it is what it is. Gal obviously beat Lamar. Everybody's got to beat Galvin. It is what it is. Just beat Mark Galvin. You're good. Love your team, Gal. Love your team. It's going to be great, especially going forward. Caden beat Spoons. That was actually a big one that had a lot of determinations into what we're going into now with this crazy set of how things are. So that was super huge that Caden beat him. And then pretty sure I called this the game of the week. I might have to go back and look at my reviews, but Joyner and Kyle. I wasn't home last night. I went over to a friend's house and watched the game, finished that up, and watched Lamar just be stupid and do whatever he wants to. But I know, because of what I saw from Kyle this morning, like, the fuck happened last night. I know he probably called it a night, felt kind of comfortable, and he was like, I might win, I'll be good. And woke up to fuck. Like, how did I lose? How did I lose? Joyner's really good at that. Joyner's really good at, like, Monday night, go to sleep, wake up, and Joyner won the game stuff. So, good stuff. Also, BTW, I would like to personally thank Robert Joyner. We talked yesterday. I don't know if the audio is going to sound a lot better because I'm mid-recording right now, so I don't know what it's going to sound like till I'm done with it. But this, it's right here in front of me. You can't see it, but there's a new microphone right here because Robert Joyner graciously donated that to us. I like to call it the league because it's not just mine. I'm doing this for all of us. So thank you, Rob. That's super awesome. We're hashing out some stuff. We're gonna make good friends and just be awesome. But thank you, super thank you for that. So yeah, and here we are, guys. We're going into it. Just gonna run this down real quick because I don't know how much time I'm gonna have today. But I guess we'll go ahead and start with the normal lineup. And we're going to knock out the team of the week. Team of the week. Guess who it is this week? Anybody? Mark Galvin. Mark Galvin, way to go. I'm going to keep this super simple. I'm going to say 2 names. DJ Moore, Lamar Jackson. Enough said. Team of the week. Team of the week. I can pretty much cover it there. Now, those guys put up almost 100 points between 2 players. Lamar Jackson's the truth, guys. Just talking about from like a football standpoint, not just fantasy football. Lamar Jackson is the truth. When you got Mike Vick coming out just to watch you, you're the truth. You got something real going on. So whether he ends up beating the Patriots, which I really hope it doesn't happen, in some kind of AFC game, he's going to be fun to watch for years to come. So that's freaking awesome. I like it. Still rather him not beat the New England Patriots, but could happen. Mark Galvin, good job. Team of the week, you sewed that up. Running into the next one, we'll just beast it up to the offensive and defensive players of the week. So, offensive and defensive player of the week. I'm going to do the offensive first. I bet you guys can't guess who the offensive player of the week is this week, can you? I'll give you a second. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, legit, 47.95 points. He collectively put that together for 15 out of 20, for 169 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not only did he do that, he carried the ball 8 times for another 95 yards. The dude, what do you do with that? What do you do when your quarterback can just like run and juke and left and right and go everywhere, and then you still have to cover him because he really wants to be a pocket passer and that's what he's trying to build himself for? Like, come on, guys, that's tough. That's freaking tough. But yeah, Lamar Jackson, player of the week. And actually in that same game between Galvin and Lamar, you serious? He had the defensive player of the week, which was Fred Warner. There were some other defensive players that scored a little bit higher, but I'm only going to count the ones that were started on someone's lineup. But yeah, Fred Warner 11 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. Like, it's a good stat line. I don't care who you are. Linebacker, DB. It'd be cool if a DB got all that. But yeah, I mean, that's a great stat line. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to stack up to help, Justin take a W there. But still, still good to have those guys on there. Yeah, go ahead and drop him. I'll pick him up. I'll use him as a flyer for sure. But yeah, so that was the offensive and defensive player of the week. We're going to move right on into the shit the bed player of the week. I didn't expect the shit the bed player of the week to be, you guessed it, Spoons. Shit the bed player of the week's actually pretty good. All I got to do is look at like the lowest scoring team and be like, what happened? And Spoons, Spoons has usually been an average 200 point, 220 point a game kind of guy. And dropping down 168.35 for Spoons is just, it's not a good look. You need to kind of go in and break it down and look. And when that happens, it's because your players don't put up points. So he's got 7 offensive players, 7 offensive starters. It's not counting defense. It's just offensive starters in the single digits. And then, they added up to a little bit of points. But if you've got 7 of them in single digits, that's tough. 7 offensive players in single digits usually equals an L. Just like if you've got, 5 offensive players, they get 33 points. It's going to be an L. We can't compete with the level that we bring of, the level of intensity and the level of team building that we bring in this league. You can't win with those numbers. So it is what it is. But, so the shit the bed player of the week goes to Spoons. Sorry, buddy. And then, what we got next? What do we got next, guys? One of my favorites, still my favorite. We have the shoulda, coulda, woulda player of the week. Guess who the shoulda, coulda, woulda player of the week was? Jackass. Slinker beat me. I already mentioned it once. Cooper Kupp. He had a few catches at the end that put him over the top to beat me. This is how important sitting the right lineup is, guys, right here. This is a great example. If I had played Jalen Richards over Jalen Samuels, Jalen's just whooping my ass here. Jalen Samuels put up 6.2 points. Jalen Richard put up 11.1 points. So with that point difference, it's like 4.58 points. 4.95 points, I think, something like that. I would have beat Slink by 0.35. I really wanted that win because I don't know if you guys, not all you guys have been in the lead long enough, but Slinker named a whole team after beating me by a half point one time, calling it the Half Point Heroes. I would have loved to have changed my name from year one next year to the 0.35 point Heroes, because that would have put Slink out of the playoffs just like it put me out of the playoffs when he beat me by a half point. Not trying to get Slink all hype and get him like, oh, if I knock Shorty out of the thing and Miss Slinker's playing me too, that'd be a big hit for Charles to go down the only 2 times he's never made the playoffs by a Slinker. Whoo, I might get mad about that one, just saying. But hey, good game, Slink. Hell of a shot. I should have played the right people. It would have been great. I did not. So unfortunately, shoulda, coulda, woulda. Player of the week. All right, and real quick, the new part of the show. Well, not new. I just kind of added some flair to it. We're going to do the Let's Pick 'em. So obviously, Let's Pick 'em's nothing new, nothing crazy that we haven't done before. I'm just going to make some predictions. I'm going to call some games here, guys. So I'll just start out with me and Miss Slinker, as always. I'm picking myself to beat Miss Slinker on the sheer fact that I have to win, and she doesn't. She doesn't have to win. She's already where she's at. She's just fighting for like the 2 spot. I think she might even already have the 2 spot on lock. So I'm gonna pick myself to win and pray to the gods of football that I win and don't lose to another Slinker and get knocked out of the playoffs, because I'll be so sad about that. So sad. But yeah, I still like her team. Her team's good. She can absolutely beat me. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen. I'm getting some players back from injuries, hopefully a few key ones. I had a lot of people on bye last week too, so hopefully it works out in my favor and I can catch a W, so that would be great. And if I get a W, boom, playoffs. That's all I need. Vega and regular Slinker. So this is the match of Titans right here. And I don't know which way I want to go here, just based on the way that the teams are lined up. And I almost, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to take Slinker to win. I'm going to take Slinker to win just because if Slinker beats Vega, Slinker gets that 7-5 spot. So now we've got another, or 7-6, 7-6, and 7-6 spots. So there's 2 of the 7-6s that we're talking about. Slink's actually got some decent matchups in there this week. Vega has some good matchups too. I actually think it's going to be a really close game. But just for a standings point of view, I'm picking Slinker to beat Vega just for that to happen. Next, we got Lamar Sirius and Hendo. I'm literally going to pick. I wanted to pick Lamar Sirius to win because I feel like he's got a win coming. But just for standings, I'm going to pick Hendo to win, just so I can see another 7-6 team enter into the playoff hunt to see how this stuff shakes up. David and Galvin, who cares? Nah, just playing, guys. So Galvin, he's obviously got an amazing team. And, Dave's already out of the playoffs, so, it is what it is. I'm going to pick Galvin to win just because, he does have a really good team. Dave is still going to stay engaged. I know David, it is what's going to happen. But I think Galvin beats David, and that one actually doesn't matter into that playoff pick because Galvin already has solidified the number 1 spot. Boom, he's got a bye and everything, so he's good to go. And then we got Caden and Joyner. Once again, this one I'm actually going to pick because I like the team and the matchups better, but it's actually clicking with I want this big crazy thing to happen where everybody's like 7-6. But I'm going to take Joyner to win on this one. Number 1, because Caden's going to get drunk and not send his lineup, so it's going to be great and it's going to be amazing. And then we'll have another set of 7-6 teams right there. Like, Jesus Christ, this could get so interesting. And obviously for me, the last one, Spoons and Kyle, I'm picking that as the game of the week because that's the only one where a possibility of someone being 7-6 and someone being that 8-5 mark, that's a playoff. So one of them is getting a playoff berth. 8-5 is a playoff berth. So either Kyle or Spoons, depending on who wins this game, is getting a playoff berth. On the backside of that, whoever loses that game still stands the risk of being out of the playoffs, even though they're ranked as high as they are in there with the points. Spoons has to worry about the points for. He really needs that win because he's down a little bit in the points. Kyle has a little bit of a buffer in the points, so he's more on the top side of it. So if he took the L, he could possibly still stay in there because there's a bigger point gap for someone to make up. So yeah, game of the week. I'm picking you, Kyle. Picking my homeboy. Love you to death, man. I hope you win. I hope I see you in the playoffs if I'm lucky enough to make it, because who knows what the hell's going to happen. I got to win. If I get a win, I'm in. If you're 7-6 or 7-5, you get a win and you're in. Winning, you're in. But if you end up at that 7-6 mark and everybody's 7-6, somebody's not going to make it. Like possibly 3 people not going to make it at 7-6. It's so crazy. But yeah, man. So that's it, guys. Just keep plugging away. This is going to be a huge week in our fantasy football league. Stay tuned, stay active, stay aware. Make sure that you're sitting your lineups. We got to get in there. To the guys that aren't in it, we'll see you guys next year. You can still shake some stuff up with some wins in here this week, but yeah, next year's draft's going to be awesome. But hey, let's get after this. Let's go sit these lineups. Let's see some some football acumen come around and see who's got the craziest outcome here. Let's see if everybody ends up at 7-6, or if this whole thing is just like all the 7-5 teams win and they end up like 8 and something, and then it's not even a big deal. It is what it is. But boys, I'm out of here. We'll see you next time. The Short Take.